A French intelligence officer is arrested in Bamako. Months later, he is sentenced to 20 years in prison. For Mali's military government, this was not just a spy case. It was proof, they say, that a much larger battle is being fought behind the scenes. This man right here is known as Yann V, a French intelligence officer. He was arrested in August 2025 by the Mali government. Now, he was being accused of being a spy. Just so you remember, the Sahel region had cut off ties with France. So what is a France intelligence officer doing in Mali? Think about that. Then on June 5th, 2026, the Malian court charged him to 20 years imprisonment for trespassing. The French government have rejected the charges and have asked for his release. This is Solid Finance Podcast, where we bring you finance and economic updates of what's happening in Africa. Stick around, learn a thing or two from this channel. Let's dive right in. For decades, the France maintained political and significant roles in the Sahel region. In 2014, France launched an operation called Barkhane. Now, this operation was meant to fight the jihadists in the Sahel region. They were brought in from France to help curb the bandit issues in the Sahel region. Yet, despite years of military persistence, insecurity still continued in the Sahel region. Because of the insecurity in the Sahel region, frustration began to grow. That is when the military government emerged in Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. When they emerged, told the French ambassadors to go back home because that was the beginning of a new era for the Sahel. As the relation with France deteriorated, the new partners were now the Russians. And of course, the Russians emerged as the most visible alternative. Weeks later, the military instructors and security personnel began to arrive in the Sahel region. Supporters believed that where France failed to progress, Russia would do better. But then, critics argued changing powers would not solve a country who is deeply rooted in insecurity. Now, when the Russians came, they promised that they are going to take swift action and insecurity was going to reduce. But then, nothing changed. The terrorists were still attacking Mali, were still attacking Burkina Faso, and were still attacking Niger. This was now beginning to sound like a broken record. Fast forward to August 2025. A French intelligence officer was arrested, Yann V. On June 5th, 2026, a Malian court sentenced Yann V, the French intelligence officer, to a 20 years imprisonment. The French kicked against it. They rejected the charges and asked for his release.
The man you're seeing in this picture, he's a French citizen. This man was accused of destabilizing Mali. You won't believe that the Malian government have just handed him 20 years in prison. According to the information is coming in that this news is coming from French 24 and other French news that this man was responsible for trying to destabilize Mali. That the French government have came into Mali to try to destroy Mali, and they were using their own citizens to do that. Last year, this man here was captured and he was sentenced to prison. And now today, it was confirmed that he's going to be going to prison for 20 years. French government tried to pay Mali a lot of money to try to release him, but the government of Mali, they said that this man was responsible of sponsoring those.
Now, this man was being accused of mobilizing some set of Africans that are living in Mali. He was being accused of trying to use them to disrupt and to destroy the stronghold in Mali. For the supporters of the Sahel states, this was a green card that the foreigners were still looking around. Few months after Yann V was arrested, something shocking happened in Mali. On April 25th and April 26th, bandits attacked Mali, and a lot of lives were taken in that process. Amongst those that were killed was the defense minister, General Kadio Camara. Don't forget, he is a key figure in the military of the Malian. Now, if that kind of person can be killed, what's the assurance for every other simple person? The death of the defense minister, General Camara, sent shocking waves across the Sahel states. Everybody was now scared. Now, over 50 terrorists were caught, but then one person was interviewed and then he came out and spoke and it was like, oh, we're being sponsored by these people and all of that. I'd like us to watch that video. You can imagine what he was saying. We're being sponsored by foreign instructors. We're being taught by them. We're being empowered by them. Mali is one of the leading countries in Africa when it comes to gold. Burkina Faso and Niger have numerous resources in their country. It's only common for the French government to still want to do business with them. Many Africans argue that for years, foreign powers have taken a lot from Africans, but then we're not being acknowledged for it. Because tell me why there is no gold mine in France, but then countries that have more gold, countries that process more gold, is always them. Meanwhile, they come to Africa, the dirty Africa, as they call it, the local Africa, the chimpanzees, the animals, they come here, get our resources, make us look like nothing. Then publicly and openly, France has disclaimed any information linking that they have a hand in the bandits. Yet, the debate is still continuing because gold remains one of the most valuable assets on earth. Gold has controlled other resources and has also shaped global politics. Don't forget, politics is the prostitute of economy.
Why are some of you acting as though it is above the French to collaborate with jihadists in the Sahel? Why are some of you acting as though the French would never possibly think of using the jihadists in the Sahel as a means to an end, as a necessary evil? You all must not understand the stakes here. I've heard someone, an ignoramus, say, oh, the goal is not decolonization. The goal is a stable government, a stable society. Some of you don't understand what is at stake, and it shows. Gold, this commodity called gold, is the most important thing to the French. Go back in history and look at the gold wars that were started by Charles de Gaulle, the former president of France, the one that oversaw the decolonization of African countries. By the way, when the decolonization of African countries happened in 1960, when Mali was given its independence by the French, did they just leave after? Didn't they go back and continue economic imperialism in all West Africa? Via the CFA franc, for example? You all must not understand the stakes. The French right now want to break up with America for good, and the only thing linking
the Sahel is standing at crossroads. The French influence is declining, Russian influence is growing, but then the terrorists are still attacking and still causing more insecurity in the Sahel states. The questions remained unanswered. Did France fail the Sahel? Will Russia help the Sahel where the France government failed? Does arresting the French intelligence officer, Yann V, mean that there will be no other influence coming out from the foreign side? Does this mean that the Sahel states has conquered foreign influence? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do well to like, do well to share. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Solid Finance Podcast, for more finance content like this. Until next time, bye for now.